Good day from Geneva. We are at the Ecumenical Center during the World Council of Churches Central Committee meeting 2023, and we're here in the networking zone. With me is Naomi Boulton from the Uniting Church in Australia. Firstly, has the Stewardship Program that you're involved in reshaped your understanding of ecumenism?
The Stewardship Program has really shown me what ecumenism looks like on a practical level, not just in theory it's a good idea, but it's really shown me how that works. Speaking and connecting with all of these young adult leaders from all around the world and learning about the way in which our culture and our religious traditions are different, influence our expression of our faith. It's the one faith that we share, but it's the different ways in which we express that faith. And that's been really eye-opening for me and has strengthened my understanding.
You are from the Pacific, so what are two issues in the Pacific that you think can be impacted by work from the ecumenical movement?
There's a number of issues that the Pacific region is facing at the moment. Japan is planning on releasing and dumping nuclear waste into the Pacific. This is something that as Christians we are called to stand against, because we're called to care for creation. We're called to care for our brothers and sisters and our neighbors in the Pacific. And so we have the power to stand up and to have an influence and to say, no, this is not acceptable. As someone who lives in Australia, we recognize we have a really long history that goes back to long before white colonization. And we have a rich Indigenous Australian First Nations people history. We are in the process of learning what it means to walk together, and the big issue at the moment is reconciliation with our First Nations people. At the moment we have a referendum coming up about bringing in a voice to Parliament, and so for me, specifically as a Christian and working in the ecumenical movement, this is somewhere where Christians should be standing up and sharing our voice, saying, as Christians, we have a model of forgiveness, of reconciliation, and we need to be showing that in our actions. And I would really like to, as someone who is not a First Nations member myself, I would like to just share a really quick item from the Uluru Statement of the Heart. I will just quickly read this short thing. So we talk about some of the issues facing First Nations peoples and the way in which colonization has impacted them. And then they say, these dimensions of our crisis tell plainly the structural nature of our problem. This is the torment of our powerlessness. We seek constitutional reforms to empower our people and take a rightful place in our own country. When we have power over our destiny, our children will flourish. They will walk in two worlds, and their culture will be a gift to their country. We call for the establishment of a First Nations voice enshrined in the Constitution.
Thank you for sharing, Naomi.